Okay guys, today we'll be finishing off chapter 3. This is the last section. Section 3.9, Order of Operations with Fractions. So copy that down in your notes to make your notes nice and neat. Pause if you need to, and when you're ready, come on back. Okay, by now you should have this written down in your notebook. Today we're going to talk about order of operations with fractions. So you guys are very familiar with order of operations. And now we're just going to do a few examples with fractions so that you become familiar with that as well. So no need to write this down, just a quick reminder. Order of operations refers to bed mass. You do anything in your brackets first, then you do exponents, then you do division and multiplication depending on which order they show up in. You do it like you're reading a book. You read from left to right, and then you solve your division and multiplication problems like that. And then the same thing with addition and subtraction. You leave that for last, and then you do these in the order from left to right. Alright, so a quick little review. I want you to write this down as we're going. Pause if you need to, because I will be going through this pretty quick. Quickly, we're going to do a quick review of adding and subtracting fractions, which pop up in order of operations. And this is from grade 7. You guys, we practiced word problems the other day. This, you touched on this the other day, so just a quick little review here. So 3 over 5 plus 7 over 5. Whenever you're adding or subtracting fractions, you need a common denominator. Okay, so a common denominator between 5 and 7 is 35. So what did I multiply my 5 by to get 35? I multiplied my 5 by 7. So whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 3 times 7. So 5 times 7 is 35. That's great. That's my common denominator. And 3 times 7 is 21. So what did I multiply 7 by to get 35? I multiplied 7 by 5. Whatever I do to my bottom, I need to do to my top. So 7 times 5 is 35. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so then when you're adding fractions, the rule is you add top plus top and you keep your denominator. So keep our denominator 35. 21 plus 25 is 46. And then we simplify from there. Because we have a bigger number on the top, this can become a mixed number. So 35 goes into 46 once. And how many do we have left over? Okay, so pop up my other calculator here. 46 subtract 35 is 11 left over. 11 out of 35. Okay, so this one right here, subtraction. We need a common denominator between 8 and 3. Common denominator is 24. If you guys are having trouble finding common denominators, let me know and we'll go over it in more detail. And we bring down our subtraction sign. So 8 times 3 gives me 24, so I got to multiply my top by 3 as well. So 7 times 3 is 21. And 3 times 8 is 24. So I have to multiply my top by 8 as well. 1 times 8 is 8. And then 21 minus 8 is 13. Double check that. Perfect. And then so we subtract our tops and we keep our bottoms. And that's as simplified as that go. Okay, so just remember, plus and minus fractions, you should immediately think of common denominators. You cannot add or subtract or put them together in any way without a common denominator. And when you come down through, you need your tops to get plus your tops together or minus your tops, and you keep your denominator. Okay, now these are what we've been doing in this chapter, multiplying and dividing. When you see multiply, you should remember, multiply my top by my top and my bottom by my bottom. No need for a common denominator when you're multiplying and dividing. Okay, so I can multiply my top by my top, but I see a simplification that I can do here first. I can simplify my corners. 5 divided by 5, and up right here, this can be divided by 5. So I never done anything with the 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Times 5 divided by 5 is 1. And on the bottom is 7. I never done anything with that. Top by top, 3 times 1 is 3. Bottom by bottom, 1 times 7 is 7. Okay, division is very similar. But first, we got to remember keep, change, flip. Keep the first one, 7 over 8. We change the division to multiplication. We flip this one, so this becomes 3 over 1. I don't think anything to simplify there, so I go top times top. 7 times 3 is 21. And bottom times bottom. 1 over 8. We can change this to a mixed fraction. That's always our last step, is to see if we can simplify. How many times can 8 go into 21? 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. So we have 5 left over. Okay, so that was just a quick review of all 4 operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And now let's apply this to an example with order of operations. Okay, so write this down with me. Alright, 3 over 5 plus 5 over 2 times 6 over 10. So we got to remember BEDMAS. Brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So here, what do we do first? The addition or the multiplication? According to BEDMAS, we do the multiplication first. So, anything we don't work with, we just carry down. So 3 over 5, and the plus, we're not dealing with that. We're doing our multiplication first. So we're going to multiply these two fractions together. 5 over 2 times 6 over 10. Right away, I can see some things that can be simplified. Okay, so don't worry about anything from here over. We're just looking at this right now, and you guys know how to do this. This is what we've been doing all chapter. So, common factors. I see a common factor in my corners right here, right away. So, 5 divided by 5, and 10 divided by 5. Okay, so I'll bring that down. 5 divided by 5 is 1. I haven't done anything with my 2 yet, so I'll bring that down. Times. Haven't done anything with my 6. And then I have 10 divided by 5, which is 2. Okay, I see another thing that I can simplify. My corners here. 2 divided by 2. And 6 divided by 2. So I'm going to copy that down. Bring down everything. 3 over 5. Bring down our addition symbol. 1. Didn't do anything with. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down our multiplication. 6 divided by 2 is 3. and bring down our 2. Okay, so now bring it down again. 3 over 5, we haven't done anything with, plus, it's multiplication, so what is our rules? Top times top, bottom times bottom. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 2 is 2. We are done with multiplication. Now we can start dealing with our addition. What is a rule with addition? Addition, you should immediately think of common denominators. So, we have to make a common denominator here. A common denominator, a common multiple of 5 and 2 is 10. Carry down our plus, and 10. So what do we multiply our 5 by to get 10? We multiplied it by 2. Whatever we do to the bottom, we need to do to the top. So 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 2 is 6. What did we do to the 2 to make it into 10? We multiplied it by 5. Whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top. 3 times 5 is 15. We have a common denominator, so we're safe to add our fractions. Remember, the rule is you add your tops, your numerators, and you keep your denominators. So we keep our 10, and then we have 6 plus 15 is 21. Our answer is 21 over 10, or, and we can simplify this, 10 goes into 21 2 times, with 1 left over, and our denominator here is 10. Okay, so in grade 8, you should have all the tools you need to solve something like this. It's just a matter of choosing the right strategies at the right times. Okay, so a quick note, and I want you to write this down. Note, if working with mixed numbers, change to improper fractions first. And yes, I know you already have it in your notes, but I want you to write it down again because it is important. And when you're ready, we'll move on to the next and last example for this video. Okay, so by now you should have that note written down. And final example, write it down along with me. Okay, so we have very similar numbers here, except this one is 1 and 3 over 5. So 1 and 3 over 5 plus 5 over 2 times 6 over 10. So the very first step, before we deal with order of operations, the very first step is to change any mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. Oops. 8 over 5 plus 5 over 2 times by 6 over 10. Okay, now we work with BEDMAS. A BEDMAS tells us we need to do our multiplication before our addition. So I'm just going to carry down anything I didn't work with. 8 over 5 plus. And now I'm going to simplify very quickly here. Alright, so 5 and 10, my corners here can be simplified. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 10 twice. And I'm going to simplify these corners in the same step. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So we have 1 over 1 times 3 over 2. 1 over 1 times 3 over 2. So, never have done anything with this yet. We carry it down. Plus 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, so now we're ready to work with our addition. This is our last step. We need a common denominator. Like before, we said our common denominator is 10, and we need the common denominator because we're adding fractions. So 10 plus a fraction over 10. How do we get to 10? We multiplied our 5 by 2. Anything we do to the bottom, we need to do the top. So we need to multiply 8 by 2 as well. So 8 times 2 is 16. How do we get to 10 here? We multiply 2 by 5. What do we have to do to the top? Multiply by 5, same thing. So 3 times 5 is 15. So then when you're adding fractions, you keep your common denominator. And you add your numerator. So 16 plus 15 is 31. Or 10 goes into 31 3 times. How much is left over? 1 over 10. So again, you have all the skills you need to solve this. It's a matter of picking what strategy and what skills you want to use when. And always remember, any mixed fractions, change them to improper fractions right away because they're easier to work with. Okay guys, so the practice work that goes along with this lesson is textbook page 155. Make sure you write down the numbers in your notebook. So I hope you found that lesson enjoyable. And if you have any questions, please let me know before you dive into the practice work. So good luck with it, guys. Thank you.